Lyric, a Frostwing fairy, was born in the heart of the Everfrost glade, where winter never ended, and the lakes shimmered like silver under the pale moonlight. Her wings, delicate yet powerful, sparkled with frost, leaving behind trails of glittering ice wherever she flew. She was the guardian of winter's beauty, her heart as pure as the first snowfall, untouched by warmth. Every night, she danced upon the frozen lakes, her movements like poetry in motion. The ice beneath her feet sang as she twirled, creating intricate patterns that only lasted until the next sunrise. She was alone in her world of frost, her heart longing for something she couldn't name. One fateful evening, as she traced a spiraling pattern across the lake's surface, she felt an unfamiliar warmth in the air. A flicker of orange and gold appeared at the edge of the frozen forest. Curious, she fluttered closer, her breath catching in her throat. A creature of fire stood before her. A phoenix, its feathers ablaze with golden flames, its wings radiating heat that melted the snow at its feet. His eyes, molten amber, locked onto hers, filled with both sorrow and wonder. "I've watched you dance every night," he said, his voice deep yet gentle. "I've never seen anything so beautiful." Lyric's heart fluttered like a snowflake caught in the wind. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "My name is Blaze," the phoenix replied. "And I am cursed to burn forever." Blaze told Lyric his story. He was once a being of balance, his fire meant to bring warmth to the coldest nights. But a jealous sorcerer cursed him, ensuring that his flames would never dim, never allow him to feel the touch of another without turning them to ash. For centuries, he had wandered the world, leaving behind trails of destruction he never intended. Yet, when he saw Lyric dancing upon the ice, something inside him ached. She was everything he could never touch, graceful, delicate, untouched by heat. And still, he couldn't look away. Lyric, too, felt an unfamiliar pull toward Blaze. His fire should have terrified her, should have driven her away. But instead, she was drawn to it. To him. One evening, as they spoke beneath the shimmering auroras, Blaze hesitated before stepping closer. Lyric lifted her hand, wanting to touch him, but the moment her icy fingers neared his flaming feathers, steam hissed between them. The air crackled, neither warmth nor cold prevailing, only a painful reminder that they could never be together. Tears glistened in Lyric's eyes. "Why does the world keep us apart?" she whispered. Blaze's flames flickered uncertainly. "Because love like ours isn't meant to exist." But despite the laws of nature, despite the pain of knowing they could never truly embrace, they kept meeting, sharing stories, laughing, and longing for a future that seemed impossible. The Frostwing elders noticed Lyric's absences. They warned her of the dangers of meddling with fire, of how Blaze's presence was already melting the edges of their frozen world. "The balance of the seasons must be maintained," they said gravely. "If you continue down this path, winter itself could shatter." But Lyric couldn't stay away. The thought of never seeing Blaze again was unbearable. She defied the elders, sneaking away to the lake where Blaze waited, his flames always dimming slightly in her presence, as if he, too, wished he could be something else, someone else, just for her. Blaze had his own struggles. The more time he spent near Lyric, the more his fire ached to consume everything around him. He feared hurting her, feared losing control. The curse chained him to his flames, and he could never offer Lyric the life she deserved. One night, as they met beneath the falling snow, Blaze clenched his fists, his body trembling. "I can't do this anymore, Lyric," he said, pain lacing his voice. "Every time I'm near you, I burn with more than fire. I burn with the need to hold you, to be with you. But I can't. My flames will never allow it." Lyric's heart shattered. "Then we will find a way," she pleaded. "There must be a cure, a spell, something that can break this curse." Blaze hesitated. "There's one thing," he admitted. "But it's too dangerous." She grabbed his hand, ignoring the steam that rose between them. "Tell me, if I drown in the coldest waters, my fire may die." Lyric gasped, her wings trembling. "No, that could kill you." Blaze smiled sadly. "But without it, I can never be with you." A storm raged that night. The frozen lake cracked under the weight of the howling wind. Lyric and Blaze stood at the edge of the water, the line between fire and ice blurring as snowflakes sizzled into nothing upon Blaze's burning feathers. "Don't do this," Lyric begged, her hands clenched at her sides. Blaze cupped her cheek, his touch hovering, never truly making contact. "I have to try," he said. "For us." With one final look into her tear-filled eyes, he leapt. The moment Blaze hit the water, steam erupted in a violent hiss. The lake churned, the ice cracking as the frozen depths fought against the heat of his flames. Lyric screamed, diving in after him, searching desperately through the billowing mist. Then, silence. The water settled, the steam cleared, and there, beneath the glassy surface, Blaze floated, his flames extinguished. Lyric's heart stopped. She reached for him, her arms wrapping around his now cool body. She pulled him to the surface, dragging him onto the ice. His feathers, once blazing with golden fire, were now a deep shade of crimson, like embers that had burned out. "No," she whispered, pressing her forehead against his. "Come back to me." A shuddering breath left his lips. His eyelids fluttered open, and for the first time, his touch was warm, not burning, not searing, just warm. Blaze had survived. The water had not killed him. Instead, it had freed him. His fire was no longer an uncontrollable force, it was gentle, tamed. He could feel the cold of the ice beneath him, feel the way Lyric's cool fingers traced over his cheek. Tears of joy spilled down her face. "Blaze, you did it." He smiled, pulling her close, truly holding her for the first time. "I told you," he murmured. "I can't live without you." The Frostwing elders watched from a distance, their stern expressions melting into something softer. The laws of nature had been rewritten that night, not by force, but by love. From that day on, the frozen lakes held a new kind of beauty. A balance between frost and warmth. Lyric and Blaze danced together, her steps still delicate as snowfall, his presence a comforting heat that no longer threatened to consume her. And when they kissed beneath the shimmering auroras, steam no longer rose between them. Only warmth, only love.